Breaking Bad, the show that made chemistry cool again and made us all question if our high school teachers had secret lives. But is it the greatest TV show of all time? Or is it just overrated? Look, I love Breaking Bad, but can we be honest for a second? Is it really the best show in the world? Like, yeah, it's good, but is it this good? The plot is undeniably brilliant. Vince Gilligan is basically a modern day Shakespeare. It kicks off with Walter White, a high school chemistry teacher who, after being diagnosed with cancer, turns into a drug kingpin, because apparently the only way to pay for medical bills is by starting a meth empire. Makes sense, right? I guess when cancer's eating you alive, it's only fair you cook something that can do the same to other people. Circle of life, I guess. We also get introduced to Walter's ex-student and partner in crime, Jesse Pinkman.
Bitch!
A degenerate former student selling drugs on the street corner to make a quick buck. He's Walt's chaotic sidekick, always caught between screwing things up and accidentally being the only decent human in the room. Honestly, for a guy who starts off selling dime bags, he's got more development than most main characters. I think what makes this show so good is how insanely well written the characters are. So well written, in fact, that even the side characters got their own spin-off, which, might I add, was unfreaking believable. But more on that later. I'll tell you what really takes a show from good to legendary is the characters. You can have the most mind-blowing plot in the world, but if the characters are trash, the whole thing falls apart faster than Walt's marriage. Take The Office for example. The plot is literally just people working at a paper company. Exciting, right? But it's one of the best sitcoms ever made because every character is so well written and memorable. And that's exactly why Breaking Bad is so widely loved. Sure, the plot is amazing, but the characters are even better. Well, with a few exceptions. Walter White's character arc in Breaking Bad is hands down one of the best we've seen. The guy goes from teaching kids how to balance chemical equations to balancing cartel deals and body counts. Talk about career development. And Bryan Cranston? Exceptional casting. The world was skeptical at first, but boy did he prove us wrong. Cranston's transition from sitcom dad to cold-blooded drug lord was smoother than a girlfriend explaining to her boyfriend that the dude she was caught cuddling with in bed is just a gay best friend. But what makes Walter's character even better is how real it is. Most shows love to give their anti-heroes some sort of redemption arc or a feel-good ending. Not Walter. His life unravels faster than his marriage after Skyler started staying in late at work to pick up extra hours. Every bad decision leads to another, and soon enough, Walter's losing everything. His family, his dignity, and all his money. It's the kind of realistic crash and burn you don't normally see in shows like this. Breaking Bad doesn't sugarcoat it. Walter's downfall is kinda like my love life. Starts off with a little hope, then spirals into one bad decision after another, until one day, you're awake at 2 AM staring at the ceiling, wondering where it all went wrong. You start thinking maybe, if you could just get one more chance, you'd do things differently. But deep down, you know it doesn't matter because she's already moved on, and no matter how much you did for her, she'll never forgive you, and you're probably just going to end up alone, because no matter what, you'll never love anyone like you loved her. Jesse Pinkman is one of the most unexpectedly complex characters in Breaking Bad. On the surface, he's just a small-time drug dealer with a potty mouth, a hoodie collection, and an uncanny ability to say bitch every sentence. But dig a little deeper, and you realize there's so much more to him. Sure, he starts off as Walter's sidekick, but Jesse's evolution as a character is a masterclass in how to balance humor, heart, and chaos in one package. One of the things that makes Jesse so memorable is his rawness. He's not this cold, calculated criminal mastermind like Walter's. He's honestly one of the only characters in the show who actually has a pulse, both figuratively and literally. Unlike Walter, who's got this ego problem, Jesse's vulnerability hits harder than my mum's disappointment when I told her I wanted to become a YouTuber instead of going to college. Jesse's constantly grappling with guilt, feeling like he's not worthy of anything better than the life he's stuck in, which, to be honest, is the sad reality most people go through every day of their miserable lives. Then there's Saul Goodman, who, despite having a small role in Breaking Bad, somehow becomes the heart of the entire Breaking Bad universe. And let's not forget, he went on to star in the greatest spin-off show ever created. Seriously, Vince Gilligan, thank you for this gift to humanity. After watching Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul twice, I can confidently say, embrace yourself, Breaking Bad fans, Better Call Saul is low-key the better show. Like, just a tiny bit better, but it's still a big deal. Let me explain why. In my opinion, Better Call Saul has better writing than Breaking Bad. Sure, Breaking Bad is amazing, but let's be real, A lot of its hype comes from the explosions and drugs and bodies piling up faster than the lad's holiday to Bali. But Better Call Saul isn't like that. Well, at least to start off it isn't. The whole show is literally about a lawyer that makes his shift to the dark side. Wait a minute. Good guy turns to dark side. I've seen this movie before. I knew it. But seriously, the characters and relationships are so well written in Better Call Saul that the show doesn't have to rely on explosions every 2 minutes for it to be good. Honestly, the two shows complement each other perfectly. This is the best and only Breaking Bad spin-off ever.
You can give me away when I get married, Dad.
But here's the thing. Breaking Bad isn't just a show about cooking meth and watching people spiral. It's a masterclass in storytelling, and Vince Gilligan somehow makes it feel real. Walter White's transformation is so natural, you almost forget you're watching a guy turn into the villain of his own story. Walter's descent is like watching your dignity get dragged through the mud while you keep making terrible choices that make your life worse. Kinda like my dating history. Hope, disappointment, regret, repeat. Breaking Bad is the ultimate anti-hero show. Walter White isn't just morally grey, he's low-key a terrible person. But somehow you can't help but root for him. That's the brilliance of it. The writing is so good that you're just waiting for him to make the last terrible decision that ruins everything. And when it happens, you can't help but feel for him. I mean, sure, he starts off with good intentions, but then the power just gets to his head.
Say my name.
As I said, the writing is exceptional, and it really shows near the end of the show. The finale is kind of perfect when you think about it. Walter ends up dying on his own with the whole world against him, which is quite poetic when you think about it. In the dream of spending a couple more dying years with his friends and family, he ended up losing everyone and everything, showing that no matter how hard you try in life, no matter what you do, you're probably going to die alone with no one to love you. The finale wrapped up everything tighter than Walter's tidy whities in episode 1. And of course, there's the famous, perfect, only 10 out of 10 episode in the history of television, season 5, episode 14, which I gotta agree is an unbelievable showcase of television. Walter's empire falls faster than a feminist argument when you ask it to define equality without a dictionary. Hank finally confronts Walt about a secret life, and despite Walt's desperate pleas, Hank is executed by Jack's crew in the desert. Walt's desperate escape from the situation leads to Jesse getting captured, tortured, and then left to rot in the desert, while Walt heads home to watch his life fall apart right in front of his eyes. The whole episode is a masterpiece in showing how far Walt has fallen. He loses everything, and his empire of meth is reduced to nothing but ashes. This episode has everything. Tension, betrayal, tears, and enough gut punches to leave you rethinking your entire existence. But here's the thing. As much as we love it, Breaking Bad might be a little overrated. Now don't get me wrong, it deserves the love and the hype and the obsessive fan theories and memes. But when something's this popular, it tends to get elevated to god tier status. And sometimes that makes you look at it and think, is it really that perfect? Breaking Bad is one of the best shows ever made. But is it the best? Maybe not. Does it still deserve the endless love and fan worship? Hell yeah. It deserves every bit of that hype. It's one of those rare shows that will forever be the gold standard in TV. And that concludes the video, folks. I would say the most important lesson we learned from the show is don't do drugs. And if you do, don't get caught.